Good morning and welcome to the morning news on TV3 Newday. In the headlines, minority demands prosecution of BOG governor and Gold Board CEO if investigations establish negligence in Gold Board alleged losses. ECG workers begin nationwide protest against government's decision to appoint a transaction advisor for the power distributor. Also coming up, Food and Beverages Association of Ghana warns of imminent food crisis as strike by head porters at Tema Port persists. And in sports, former heavyweight champion Anthony Joshua is responding to treatment following a car accident that killed 2 people in Nigeria. Details coming up shortly. A team of the National Anti-Illegal Mining Operations Secretariat has conducted a series of raids on illegal mining sites at Achim Oda in the Birim Central Municipality. The raids led to the arrest of 5 Chinese illegal miners who were actively mining and washing into the Birim River. 2 excavators found at the site were immobilized. One Toyota Hilux pickup and another Toyota Land Cruiser used by the arrested Chinese illegal miners were seized by the task force. Several makeshift structures erected at the sites were destroyed, together with some water pumping machines and other mining equipment. NIMOS continues its crackdown along major water bodies during the festive season to prevent further pollution. The task force from NIMOS also stormed several illegal mining sites at Haiwa in the Amenfi Central District. The task force destroyed assorted illegal mining equipment, including makeshift structures, water pumping machines, and wooden gold washing platforms, among others. NIMOS has intensified its anti-illegal mining crackdown at areas currently reoccupied by illegal miners and causing severe havoc to water bodies, forests, and farmlands in complete disregard of all environmental laws and regulatory oversight. And now the Minister for Foreign Affairs, Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa, has announced that the ministry will accompany the family of Nana Ejane, Latvia, on January 20th, 2026. The move is aimed at uncovering the circumstances surrounding the mysterious death of the Ghanaian student. We'll bring you more on this story a little later. But the minority in Parliament has filed a motion for the setup of a committee to investigate Bank of Ghana's gold losses of $214 million as of September this year, expressing fear the amount could hit $300 million by the end of 2025. The group has also demanded prosecution of the governor and the Gold Board CEO when it established that the losses were due to negligence. Here's a report by Christian Yale.
A report by the International Monetary Fund flagged the losses as a potential downside risk to Ghana's broader macroeconomic stabilization efforts. The IMF attributed them to transactions involving artisanal and small-scale mining, as well as what it described as Gold Board off-taker fees. The minority has first blamed what it says is a monopoly created through the Bauer Rock Limited for the purchase of gold.
There's a person known as Alhaji Bauer of Bauer Rock Limited. We bring to the attention of the Ghanaian people the role of his company becoming the only aggregator licensed by the Gold Board to purchase all artisanal gold directly for the Gold Board from suppliers across the country. A de facto monopoly has been created in this industry where competition used to exist and used to ensure fair pricing, transparency, and the prevention of rent seeking. Now, with the creation of this monopoly, questions are coming up. Who is benefiting from the deliberate and needless monopoly?
The ranking member on the Economy and Development Committee, Kojopo Nkrumah, called for urgent probe into the $214 million losses, which he projects could hit $300 million by end of 2025.
We are expecting the governor of the central bank and the chief executive of the gold board to appear before the committee as other persons who will be invited and to provide all the information that is required for the Republic to understand in detail what has happened and to put measures in place to ensure that it doesn't happen again. And where negligence or corruption is proven, prosecutions must follow, and all recoverable funds must be clawed back to the state.
The caucus has already filed a motion at the clerk's office for the setup of an ad hoc committee to investigate the entire Gold for Reserve scheme.
If Mr. Speaker is of the view that this is one of those major national matters that requires a recall of Parliament, we will support that. Whether he will recall Parliament to come and do it or he will wait in, the first meeting of the next session, it is an inquiry that must take place. So in terms of timelines, I will not be putting timelines. Safe to say that we are preparing those instruments. In fact, we have prepared those instruments and we are serving Mr. Speaker's office with those instruments.
Meanwhile, the majority caucus has accused the minority of deliberately misrepresenting the financial position of Gold Board, following claims that the institution has incurred a $214 million loss. Chairman of the Economy and Development Committee of Parliament, Eric Afful, says the minority's position is aimed at discrediting the NDC's economic management even before the Gold Board renders accounts to Parliament.
The allegation is that Gold Board is in debt, losses of $214 million. Let me put on records that this is serious propaganda. And I know that this will not end anywhere. The MPP and the ranking member of the Economy and Development Committee is jumping before the gun. I was expecting him to wait for the financial year to end, for the Gold Board to render accounts to Parliament, for us to go in detail and see what is actually happening. But let me put on records that the $214 million that they are quoting is never a loss, it's a cost. You can't repair losses, but you can repair cost. The purpose of setting up the Gold Board is in progress. Look at the stability of the cedi now. Look at inflation, look at the cedi and the dollar relationship we have today. So we are achieving it. You see, MPP is intentionally making this news to render our economic gains useless. But Ghanaians know what is happening in this country. If you think you can use the Forex to stabilize the macroeconomic indicators in the country, you should have done that. So if we are doing that, it's a plus to the government. And everybody is happy. We realize that the rating agencies, organizations are rating Ghana.
And in a sharp response, the Chief Executive Officer of Gold Board, Sammy Gyamfi, has dismissed the minority caucus's call for a probe into the Bank of Ghana's Gold for Reserves program, describing the move as pure jandam. Sammy Gyamfi argues that a previous administration, which presided over cumulative losses of about 7 billion Ghana cedis under the same gold programs, has no moral authority to question the current management of the central bank. He notes that the losses under the Gold for Reserves program currently stand at about 2.3 billion Ghana cedis based on IMF figures, or about 3.3 billion Ghana cedis, even by the minority's own estimates. According to him, these figures are significantly lower than the losses recorded under the former government. He further points out that the reduction in losses has coincided with broader economic improvements. Under the previous administration, the cedi experienced sharp depreciation and inflation surged. In contrast, the currency has now appreciated by more than 35% against the US dollar, while inflation has declined steadily to about 6.3%. And away from Gold Board and related matters, the Minister for Foreign Affairs, Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa, has announced that the ministry will accompany the family of Nana Adjei to Latvia on January 20th, 2026. The move is aimed at uncovering the circumstances surrounding the mysterious death of the Ghanaian student.
Following the tragic death of a Ghanaian student, Nana Adjei, in Latvia, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs has pledged to investigate and unravel the cause of his death. Minister Ablakwa assured that the Latvian government has promised full cooperation in the investigations.
I have promised the nation full investigations. We are going to stand by the family. They can count on the full force of the state. President Mahama has given me his full backing to ensure that justice is served. And I can confirm to you that my counterpart, the Foreign Minister of Latvia, has responded to the urgent notice I sent her of my intention to visit. And so on the 20th of January, expect me in Latvia. I'm going to go with forensic experts to assess the investigations. The Latvians are telling me that their investigations are not concluded. So that is good. We want to see where they have gotten to, what evidence they have been able to gather so far.
He emphasized that the ministry remains committed to protecting and seeking justice for all Ghanaians living abroad.
I have assured the nation that every Ghanaian, everywhere, home and abroad, will have the full support and protection of their government. The Mahama administration prioritizes the lives of all Ghanaians. All Ghanaians' lives matter, and no Ghanaian will be allowed to be ill-treated or maltreated. We are not going to accept that.
And now, hundreds of passengers in Takoradi, hoping to return to Accra, to Kumasi and other major cities in Ghana, have been left stranded due to a severe shortage of vehicles. At the Accra and Kumasi Lorry Terminal in the Central Business District of Takoradi, passengers are accusing transport operators of charging exorbitant fares in response to the crisis. Abraham Mensah has more.
It appeared to be a normal post-Christmas phenomenon to see passengers stranded at the Accra Kumasi station here in Takoradi. This time, however, the experience is different and overwhelming. These passengers have spent hours since morning in a futile attempt to board a bus to their destinations. Adding to the ordeal is the scorching sun, which is draining their energy. Transport operators are taking advantage of the situation to charge more than the approved fares.
We've been in the traffic for almost about, say, 3 hours now. Cars are coming in, but then the queue. So you have to go at the back desk for it to come here. I don't know if the government can support this. I don't know. The STC like this, it goes twice a day. So if they can provide more buses, especially during the festive seasons, to ease transport issues here. I don't know. It's very terrible here right now.
Some of the things the station masters are doing is not that fair. You will be here for a very long time. Others will come, and then like they've already taken some tickets for other people, and you know it's not fair. We have been here for more than some have been here like 6-8 hours.
I have been here since 10 a.m. It is now 1:30 p.m. We are still standing under the hot sun waiting for a car to come. When cars finally arrive, they charge twice the normal fare.
Mr. Okain, a ticketing officer at the Takoradi Accra minibus terminal, disclosed that many of their vehicles are unable to make a second trip after returning from Accra, citing the poor state of the roads and driver fatigue.
The roads are very bad, so we often have to visit the mechanic. A trip that should take 4 hours now takes about 7 hours.
The Western Regional Chairman for the Ghana Private Road Transport Union, Joseph Simon Skujo, offered a different explanation for the crisis.
This usually happens during festive periods. The number of passengers at one station may not be the same at the other end. The roads are very bad, so we often have to visit the mechanic. Because of the poor roads, a trip that should take 4 hours now takes about 7 hours. This makes us very tired and unwilling to make another trip.
Reports indicate that congestion at the terminal worsens daily. Some passengers have had to cancel their trips due to the situation. Abraham Mason, TV3 News, Takrady.
And now, the Minister for Gender, Children and Social Protection, Dr. Agnes Namumulate, has affirmed and reaffirmed the ministry's commitment to intensify the fight against gender-based violence in 2026. She says talks are ongoing with the presidency to begin the construction of safe shelters nationwide to provide refuge for victims of abuse.
At the end of year Kaya Year Empowerment Workshop in Accra, Dr. Lati noted that sexual abuse, child trafficking and exploitation are being closely monitored under the ministry's mandate. She stressed the importance of continuous public education, describing the interventions as crucial to building a safer and more inclusive society.
This is very important to us as a ministry because it's difficult to reach out to everybody at a go. But once they are empowered to know what their rights are and how to take advantage of all the opportunities available, they will be able to help themselves and help others as well.
Dr. Lati revealed that in 2026, shelters will be constructed across the country to ensure victims of gender-based violence are protected and supported.
We've made some inroads, and we are hoping that the first quarter will see some sword cutting and structures coming up across few areas in the country. Whether it's a trafficking issue or abuse issue, you need to keep the victim safe first. And if it is even a transit quarters, you need to keep the person safe before you identify which community the person comes from or which country the person comes from, for their respective countries to take responsibility.
She further disclosed that plans are on the way to reduce the number of young girls living and working on the streets.
Very soon be engaging them with the presidency, the various empowerment activities that we've put in place and the plans that we've put in place, will roll them out with them, and then hopefully we'll reduce the numbers on the streets and then get them, because they are hardworking, they are industrious, and so there's no limit to what they can do.
Workshop. The ministry also educated head porters on sexual and reproductive health, menstrual hygiene, and financial inclusion. The initiative forms part of efforts to empower women economically and socially while safeguarding their health and dignity.
The Food and Beverages Association of Ghana has issued a dire warning of a looming food security crisis if the ongoing labor unrest at the Tema port is not resolved immediately. The association cautions that the country may soon struggle to access essential commodities, specifically rice, sugar, and others, as a strike by porters and head porters has brought offloading of bagged and bulk goods into the country to a virtual standstill.
The executive chairman of the Food and Beverages Association of Ghana, FABAC, John Awuni, warned that the delay in offloading cargo at the Tema port is not just a logistical headache, but a threat to the dining tables of ordinary Ghanaians.
It has been around for about 2-3 months now, and nothing appears to be done. It is business that are accumulating demurrages, and this is translating into higher prices in the marketplace, because whatever cost that is borne by the business is translated back into the form of higher prices in the market. And this is not an interesting phenomenon.
A standoff between port management and porters overcompensation has led to a near total collapse of the offloading of bulk and bagged goods such as rice and sugar.
For some time now, there's been a serious undue delays in the clearing of bulk cargo at the Tema port. Apparently, the unskilled workers, the laborers have gone on strike, and the management are having difficulty in replacing them. So goods that could be cleared within 3 days turns out to be 13, 14, or 15 days.
And that's it for the news this morning on TV3 Newday. Stay with us. We'll bring you the rest of the show, TV3 Newday, in a few minutes. My name is Na Ashoko.
Please, Master, I have told you to use Kojak quality oral care products like the Kojak Charcoal toothpaste for strong teeth. Give me the meat.
Sis, that guy. Ajay, my teeth. Sis, haven't you heard of Kojak P&F toothpaste and their mouthwash? Right after here, get one for yourself. It helps fight sensitive teeth just like you're experiencing. Hey, sis.
Yes, do not joke with your teeth, cause it may worry you in the future. We are here to introduce you to our quality Kojak oral care products, such as Kojak Charcoal toothpaste that makes your teeth whiter and stronger. Kojak regular fluoride toothpaste makes your teeth stronger, fights against toothaches, and lathers well, leaving your mouth with an improved fresh taste and breath. If you have a sensitive teeth, when you take in something cold or hot, yours is to go for Kojak P&F together with the mouthwash. Go for Kojak oral care products because Kojak dear, a quality keke. For retail, visit the Rancor Pharmacy, a Kojak Pharmacy branch at American House, East Legon, near the UBA Bank. Also available in all leading pharmacies, over-the-counter stores,
New day. It's just one day to wrap up 2025. That's an amazing song by Six Strings and Dali there. One of my favorite songs from 2022 when this song first came out. Six Strings and Dali, just do it. Start from where you're standing now.
Start from where we're standing now. 2 days to the end of the year.
That's the line. Start from where you're standing
right now. We are ending.
It's a line in the song. So it just goes to say, like, you don't. So
was it this year that you said, as for this year, unless you run away? Was it this year or last year?
You don't have to wait for the next New Year
to unless you run away.
Unless people run away.
But this year, what was it?
This year, I don't get it.
You no get. Okay. It means I feel like how's the year been for you?
What's the meaning of that theme, though?
Unless you run away. Oh, you've forgotten.
Unless
the tough times that we were having, you forgot
it. From 2023, post the IMF and the haircuts and all that.
Unless people run away.
Yeah.
DDP times.
But this year, you didn't have a theme.
No, like so we're surveying, you know, we're checking.
Like we check things.
So what is your theme retrospectively? Fantastic. You know, after looking back at the year, what theme would you assign to the year?
This year?
Yeah, because we need to say it well.
Theme.
Give us a few minutes.
But Roland's most prominent statement throughout the year has been, what's trending?
What's trending?
What's trending?
He's always asking what's trending.
Every day, with a mischievous tone.
Oh, he's always asking what's trending. On Facebook.
And he gets a minimum of 600 comments under those posts.
When he says what's trending.
Yes, I really don't understand.
Who are fans with Facebook?
I tell you.
And TikTok.
I think I need to be doing TikTok content.
When I post your videos on TikTok, the kind of comments that you get. And many of your fans were hoping that you would have known how to dance by now, but I'm fat. 2025, I'm fat. Not 26 now.
So I try to learn.
Okay.
So I talked to, is it DWP?
Yes.
So their lead manager,
and
then he asked me to come for rehearsal.
Oh.
But I didn't have time to go for the rehearsal. So
you know, you should start small. Join Afronita's one is for children. That one, they will show you the very basic.
So I should go and dance children's dance.
Very basic.
You know, sometimes the disrespect that I get on the show, even though I'm the grandfather among all of you, I think that it doesn't really smack of a dent on my integrity.
Roland, you know we love you.
But also my credibility.
You know we love you abundantly.
And it's really unfair. Among all the things about privatization of ECG or appointing a transaction advisor and all the things that are happening with Gold Board and all the things, I think what took...
but a lot of things have happened this year. But
yeah, what took the toll out of me yesterday was the accident that Anthony Joshua experienced in Nigeria. And to think that, you know, you're coming to your home state or your home country, you just want to, as we call it, just comb through or just pass through, and you have 2 or so of your compatriots dead. Yeah. I have to say that it will be the most tormenting memory for that young man, not only as a legend when it comes to boxing, but his own affiliation to his other country, which is Nigeria. So I know he'll always be having a lot of flashback if the thought of he wants to return to Nigeria comes to mind.
It's very sad.
It's going to be a very tough recovery for him, you know, because you are not okay yourself. And then the trauma of losing your coach and your very best friend in a country you were birthed in, affiliated with, you love, you just came home to enjoy Christmas. And, you know, they've released diagrams of how the accident happened, you know, and it's just typically what also happens here in Ghana. A truck is just randomly parked by the side of the road.
Yeah,
you don't know whether it's going to be moved or not. You cannot tell how many days it's been there or not, you know, and they run into it. But most importantly, it's drawn my attention to a very important issue here in Africa. Yesterday, a lot of Nigerians were complaining that a world champion of this stature gets into an accident and there was no ambulance in sight. Who knows?
Emergency.
Maybe if an accident had arrived on time, maybe an ambulance had arrived on time, maybe the other 2 would have even made it. But then again, we talk about December in Africa, December in Ghana, December in Nigeria and all of that. Now and Roland, look at the number of events we've had in this country with a teeming crowd every single day from 1st of December to now. Have you seen an ambulance parked at any of these events before?
Well,
have you seen a mobile? I'm just asking. I'm not saying there wasn't. It's just questions I'm throwing out there. Have we seen mobile clinics at any of these events that just in case there's a stampede, just in case there's an accident, how are we going to respond? We are asking the diaspora to come to Africa. We are asking the rest of the world to turn their attention to Africa. But how prepared are we to receive the numbers that are trooping into this country on a daily basis, especially in December? How ready are we when things like this happen? How quickly do we respond? I mean, at the time, you can't blame the people who were gathered there who were helping him out of the car. But it wasn't professionally and medically done. It was the same thing. You know, you can go on and
they helped him walk out.
Exactly.
And in the comments, you saw people asking, can he walk?
Yes.
Why don't they carry him?
Right.
Those were questions.
You
But
know,
like you're saying,
and
he needed actual medical attention.
And that's
at that
what
time.
I've been asking.
Yeah.
Are we even ready? Listen, the conversations that go beyond the parties and the events is huge. But the question is, are we ready for these conversations? This is one of the most unfortunate things that have happened this December. I don't know how Anthony Joshua is going to heal. I don't even know if ever he would be able to return to boxing. I pray that he's able to. But losing your coach and your best friend in this manner, and you know, Africa is so hot for them because they are in the cold all the time. So Anthony in particular, he doesn't wear shirts most of the time. Most of the time he's topless. And I'm just thinking, their souls rest in peace.
No, but I think that just to add to what you're saying, it's a socio-cultural problem we have generally.
It is.
Where if you experience friends and those who tend to live in the West, or let's say in the southern part of our continent, they'll tell you that emergency preparedness of the citizenry is a better composition in those countries than we have.
Here.
So, for example, there are children who know how to swim because it's part of maybe extracurricular activities in school.
Yeah.
And then they are taught how to undertake maybe some
CPR.
First aid emergencies, etc. And then how you handle incidents like this.
Yeah.
And the reaction of those individuals, of course, our friends, our colleagues, our compatriots in Nigeria, is symptomatic of how we do things in Africa. So we are never disaster ready.
Yeah.
And that is why when I believe the first disaster struck in my living memory as a young man, the tsunami in Japan, or the rest of Asia particularly,
we saw
people kept asking if we had, let's say, typhoons, cyclones,
anything like that,
tsunamis, earthquakes that tend to happen in other parts of the world very often, happening in Africa, would we survive?
Don't go too far. A PAT happened.
Okay.
You remember?
Okay. Even before PAT, there was the Malcolm disaster as well. And you'll find that, you know, those in the temperate regions, they live in cold weather the better part of the year. But they develop their world better than us who have the best sunshine and the best weather. So it's always raining in the UK, right?
Yeah, always.
London is a wet city, or the rest of the UK or the British Isles. It's a West Isle. But at the end of the day, they are wet all the time, but they find the technology and the time to develop. So we keep asking, you know, and we go to some of the best schools with them, those who take those same decisions. And when we come back, when we brag, I was a top A student. Or abrofon no umunimhwe monya nanako. Do you understand? Amele noko. Then we brag about that.
It,
but when it comes to us, wherever we find ourselves in leadership, whether it's political leadership or supervisory leadership at the corporate level or at the community level, we tend to do the worst of decision making and then taking the discretion when it comes to what we need to do. And so it's a problem. I mean, we've been talking about this for decades. So when people ask me on the time, I say, oh, this thing, you know, it never will be, you know, but I mean, it's symptomatic of how
anybody, you know, whether you're rich, poor, or whatever, it could happen to anybody. And until it happens to you, you probably not see the importance of making sure that there are enough ambulances in the country, that there are enough mobile clinics around when events are going on, that there's enough security for every single human being wherever you are. Until it happens to you, you probably will not think about it. You think it's a problem for government, or you think, no, this one, they're poor people. No, or it's just the poor people who go through this. How much money doesn't Anthony Joshua and his two friends have collectively? How much money don't they have? But look at what happened.
Yeah. Very unfortunate.
It's really very sad.
And it's very heartbreaking when you watch the videos and see the number of people who masked up taking videos of their lifeless bodies.
It's crazy.
It's another thing that
crazy.
We need to be sensitive about as a people, because the photos are floating everywhere on social media.
No fire service in sight.
It is the world we are in now, unfortunately. It's the world we are in now, unfortunately, where we are in a hurry to put out content without caring or, having consideration for the sensitivity of the situation, because we've seen so many different angles. So many angles of their lifeless bodies on the ground.
And they quickly just posted, you know, and it's out there.
It's very, very
it's something. It's something we do all the time.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. That's unfortunately the world we're in now, where we're in a hurry to put out content. And there are some videos that are taken from like a wider angle, where you see the crowd. Everybody in the crowd has their phones up, and they're filming him as they're trying to remove him from the truck. And he was, at that point, you could see that he wasn't, I don't know if he was
traumatized.
You know, he wasn't quite himself.
Yeah, he wasn't.
And he lifted his head up, and like just a pool of
people,
cameras,
in his face. You'll be confused.
That is what broke my heart when I saw the video. Like, you can imagine the trauma and what he must be thinking at that time. And if the families of his two friends would see these photos and videos, everyone on social media. Well,
there was a tweet that was making the round yesterday, and it got a lot of reactions yesterday. It's from a gentleman with a handle named the General Snow, and he says, no matter how rich you are individually as a Nigerian, and for that matter as an African, we are all collectively poor, very poor. You only realize this during an emergency. A fire breaks out and there's no fire service. An accident happens and there's no first aid, no ambulance, no system. Today, a world boxing champion like Anthony Joshua was involved in a car accident and not a single ambulance showed up. Someone that rich and globally known. People only gathered around him and made it look like a carnival. No safety measures, no trained response, just chaos. And it runs across Africa. Everywhere in Africa.
Every day.
These things happen.
We're just not disaster
Elsewhere
ready
in the West, a little accident happens, Roland. The ambulance is there, fire service is there, the police is there. And I ask myself,
cordon off the area.
Listen,
you can't even
witnessed
come close.
A tiny weeny accident in my area in New York, and the number of public service people that pulled up for that small accident, I said, hey, this country, you people are serious. And then they get there and they're asking you, if you can respond, blink and let me, if you can hear us, blink and let's see that you can hear us. Are you okay? They're asking you.
You are here, they're asking you to get down from the car.
Oh, my God.
It's not funny. It's not funny.
They will tell you to not move, but if you can hear them, just blink so they know that you can hear them. And they're telling you that you're going to be okay. It's a very terrible accident, though. But they're telling you that you're going to be okay. Everything is going to be fine. Just stay calm. Even the way they talk to you, you will refuse to die.
Well, this is a country where we lash pregnant women, so that they push. But when things like this happen and we have these conversations, we hope that it doesn't end at having the conversations only. Yeah. But this is not the first.
But the other part is the truck that found itself on the road, and we find those incidents in Ghana.
Baby.
I remember I was working with the Jospon group, Zoomlion and the rest of them. We wanted to introduce a toll levy so that the stationary trucks will be taken off the road.
Yeah.
So people don't run into them, because our roads are not lit. in the night. And I can tell you, for many of the individuals who love traveling at night, which is not a bad thing, because the roads are not lit, it also means that you put your life in jeopardy as a result of the decision that you want to travel at night, which is the most comfortable time if you're rested enough to be able to travel, because the assumption is that I have a freeway. And so when I want to exhaust my speed limits in the car or on the road as prescribed, I will be in a good state to be able to drive to my destination on time. But herein, we have a constant feature on our roads where stationary trucks, particularly articulated or long trailer trucks, packed with goods on the road with no insignia or safety sign telling you that you have to be aware that I am parked there. I witnessed an incident recently using the Borteman Road, from Borteman to the School Junction Road, and the car was parked there. And I didn't know, I was at dawn, I was coming here. I didn't know until I saw two individuals doing like this, just waving. And there was nothing, no safety.
No triangle, nothing.
There was even, they usually will put Kufuor gallon and put a safety vest.
Sometimes they'll just put leaves over there.
Safety vest. So you see some reflective two lines. So you don't know what it is, but you know that's, and it keeps happening all the time. And as a country, we tend to have a pushback when policy initiatives are supposed to be undertaken to improve our lives. You know, and but what can we do? It's a very sad moment, because we also have had our own disaster over the year, right? We've had the helicopter accident crash that happened. We've had the incidents involving high-ranking officials, normal people, etc. And it's only those times that we tend to highlight those ones. You can imagine what ordinary Ghanaians and Nigerians go through if they are not big people.
It's difficult.
You and I will have an accident. Nobody will mind.
And even in this instance, now it tells us that you can be big, but you can just die in a minute because the systems do not work. Response teams are just unavailable to the citizenry, and it's very sad. This morning, I don't even know what the Good Morning segment should be. I don't know what questions we should even throw out
Well,
there.
if you have used the motorway over the last 2 days, what Roland was just saying...
The reconstruction?
No, not the reconstruction, but the number of trucks
parked over there.
Parked on the highway. I've had to go out of Accra a couple of times using the motorway this December. And the number of the trucks on the highway, the number of trucks, well, you see that now. They managed to put it on the side now. Well, so when I was coming, I saw that there were about 2 or 3 on the side.
Doing what? Why are they there?
It's either it's broken down, there's something, there's a tire problem, or sometimes it just appears abandoned, because sometimes they are there for so long. I remember when I went to the Insawam Amasaman Highway for the road construction conversation.
The one by Maripoma.
The one by Maripoma. It's one of the conversations that I had with Engineer Mahama, because we saw that there were trucks on the highway which were just there. So I asked him, how are you going to move these trucks?
Right.
Why are they here? He says, well, some of them, they just get there and they park, they stop.
Yeah.
For what?
Yes, they stop.
Yeah.
Just like that.
No. It's for...
And you will see whoever come and offload whatever goods they have from the trucks in the middle of the road. And, you know, as a road user, you think it's probably broken down or something, but they've actually parked in the middle of the road or wherever, on the side of the road. And like Roland is saying, the roads are not lit. So if you drive at night, you're putting yourself at risk.
You will run into them.
And we keep reporting the number of accidents, 13,000 road accidents in 2025. You know, the numbers just keep going up. And the things that cause the accidents, from the absence of street lights, traffic lights not working well, trucks parked in the middle of the road, irresponsible driving, texting and driving, we keep talking about them, and yet they remain conversations.
I think for our morning conversation, we can ask whether, as a country, a continent, we're disaster ready when it comes to all the incidents that we're highlighting and the narrative that we're posturing this morning. It's very critical for many of us, because just yesterday, Delight told me about an incident that she experienced when she was traveling. Was it from Nalerugu or the northern part of the country? There was an accident that just happened in the night. There was a collision. and she witnessed it. I was coming. This one too was parked. You run into it. You know, and it happens all the time. Nobody cares, unless maybe the person is a big figure, you know.
I've got the figures from the Ghana Road Safety Authority for 2025, and this is from January to August 2025. So even this last quarter has not come yet, but there's been a total of 9,626 road traffic crashes from January to August 2025. These crashes involved 16,348 vehicles of all categories, so private, commercial, motorbikes, cycles, and all of that, resulting in 12,894 casualties, 1,937 fatalities or deaths have been recorded, and 10,957 injuries. This is a lot. As indicated in the infographic on the right, cases reported, vehicles involved, persons killed, persons injured, and pedestrian knockdowns all increased by 11.2%, 11.6%, 20%, 10.2%, and 8.1% respectively from January to August 2025 when compared to the same period in 2024. So it means that in 2025, we've had more accidents than we had in 2024.
Terrible.
Okay.
And if I may just add, main causes: overspeeding, fatigue, human error, overspeeding dominating, especially high traffic regions like Ashanti, pedestrian knockdowns, 1,300 in the first half of the year, motorcycles frequently involved, and this is the saddest part, economically active individuals between 18 and 45 years old represent many of the victims, averaging 6 to 8 daily deaths nationwide.
What are we doing for big issues this morning?
Nationwide. Well, we're going to go into the ECG privatization conversation and also the $214 million loss to the country.
So is it loss or cost? Which one is it now?
So that is the debate. The minority call it a loss, and the majority say it is not a loss. It is a cost.
And there's some surplus too somewhere.
Yeah, so we must know that to every transaction there's a cost to it. And so we should not consider...
They make surpluses.
Yeah, we should not consider this amount of money a loss, but a cost. And also comparing the supposed loss under the previous administration to this loss or cost.
This one is better.
Yeah, their position is that the minority does not have the moral authority to claim that this government has made such a loss in the last 1 year. So we'll get into it, and we'll bring you some of the sound bites from Kojompo and Kuma on the minority side, and then Eric Affol on the majority side as well. And then we'll talk about the conversations about privatization of the ECG, what the Public Utility Workers Union are saying and how they feel about this possibility on the back of conversations that they have had with their board in the past. We'll bring you those two conversations, but we're getting into this morning now.
Yeah, let's talk about road safety, and we're just asking you, how safe do you feel on our roads here in Ghana, especially during the festive season? Call us, let's know what your thoughts are. The phone lines have been activated. Welcome to This Morning. Welcome back to This Morning. It's still TV3 Newday, and Sani is already on the line. Sani, thank you very much for joining us. Talk to us, your thoughts.
Good morning to you, Madam Cookie, and then Roland and all your staff there. I greet you. Okay, I am very saddened by what happened yesterday. Anthony Joshua is my man. I always follow him. The day that I got to know that he is an African, especially Nigerian, I started following him. Okay. So to get that, he has found himself in this kind of accident yesterday. I couldn't even sleep. I couldn't sleep because he brought his friends to have the feeling and then the atmosphere of Africa. Yeah. And then this is where it has ended. So I pray that God, have mercy on their souls and also heal him for us. That is Anthony Joshua. Okay, and then like you said, you see, Africa, we have a clear problem with regard to our road management and all that. You see how the trucks are packed. It is everywhere like that in Africa. You see, and then overspeeding. Eyewitness report has it that the driver was overspeeding. The driver, who caused that accident, he was overspeeding. So when he was overspeeding and that thing happened, he couldn't even save the people. So this is very, very unfortunate. This is some of the things that we need to look on. And you see, I want the governments or the presidents of Africa to improve upon our roads. Look, the money that we are losing, in corruption, okay? The money that we are losing in corruption and then conflict prevention and all of that. If they use this money, I believe they can improve upon our roads. Construct good roads and all that. But you see, we just allow some avoidable accidents to be occurring every day on our roads. I think it doesn't speak well for Africa. So once again, I wish them well. I wish you speedy recovery. And then those who have lost their family members, may God give them that kind of, temperament to accept the age. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sani, for your time. Also, be careful and be safe out there. You can also call us. Let's know how you're faring this festive season. Have you been safe on our roads? And most importantly, how safe do you feel on a daily basis? Another caller on the line. Hello, good morning. It's TV3 Newday.
Good morning.
Yes, good morning. Your name and where you're calling us from?
Yeah, my name is Abai, calling from Ashaiman.
Abai, talk to us. Ashaiman is also one very crazy place when it comes to driving and trucks parked by the road. Be careful, we are here. Be careful. I know you are here. That's why I turned. Be careful.
We are here. Be careful.
Abai,
know how to talk.
Abai, talk to us.
Yeah, but true, cause is here.
Adama de you papa. Roland de tell you no. On the kind of situation you won't Adama.
Like, how do you guys live there?
Roland
I've been there before, it is.
But Roland turned out please cut this caller. The caller is revealing our secrets. Cut this caller.
Wow.
Because the we are chronicity, there's a nickel won't be brave. Anna, a final fire. Oh, a fine now, what I'm a promoter.
And a dreadful so I quite a fan.
Yes, a dreadful for fine into who will be our own drive who are Tamada. My sister, very difficult amount there. Who bet me a drive your back, Tama from Makata, especially from traffic, market to Munuenye. A dreadful no Atipano MC, Atama MC now. Na clear why not been said or back or more free a quan suma, but Christmas way, who said the way I come a promotion in Yana. At the phone, I sign up at you.
I say I no go comment on this matter, but
and you wait, you're not just a car be active free. That's on them quite no mudia or better than you be as so no. And
Roland Bekaya, yes, you were at Dama traffic order. Ama Sabi Penny break. Now, share Kanu Kia, our follow the Penny break. FTC, a 24 more. I think the Roland, your witness, I was dying.
What's your friend said? Well, you used to me as Abai. Why they use me as attestation? Make her confirm the testimony. No, but it's pretty rough. It's pretty rough.
I've been there before. I've been there twice.
You should not be driving your... No, but you should not be driving your nice cars there.
Yeah, I've experienced it before. I haven't had the pleasure. It's amazing. Why are they spending time in Ashaiman? Why are they? And I'm happy that you got through today. Abayko.
No, but you yeah.
Also, I reveal secrets.
Oh no, but you can only drive there maybe after 11 p.m.
I've tried it before. You know where?
Is it really that
bad? You know where Stone Boy
No,
store
because they are
is?
no respecter of rules in a way. So it's
Obia and Phiobia, they take the law into their own hands.
Yes.
Yeah, by the time I came back, my car was just something else. And I told myself, I'm not going to lie.
Okay.
You know where the Beam store is?
Shall I give them water? Because the thing with it... It's okay.
I'm not going to talk again. It'll be cool.
Well, Haja Alima has joined us on the phone. Let's talk to Haja.
Shalipa, you make her the sweat safe.
Yes, good morning, my sisters.
Hey, Haja.
Hey, Medina is another place.
It's so great to hear from you, Haja.
Medina is another place.
From post office to Zongo Junction.
Medina is all right.
Medina is another
all right.
But yes, Medina is a junior brother of even a granddaughter of a grandson of Ashama.
No. Medina is all right.
In terms of traffic on the road, human traffic, lorry traffic, Ashama is a grandpapa. Seriously.
I thought we were discussing
something must be done about it.
Okay.
Something must be done about it.
Ajia, good morning.
Yes, good morning.
Please go ahead. What's your comment?
Why are you so uncomfortable when Ashaman is mentioned?
My comment is also about the road traffic and the way our road network is in Africa, especially in Ghana, because this is where I am. That can say, baby, so in fact, our road network in Africa, when I heard of this accident there, my heart beat. In fact, I thought it was in Ghana. I said, hey, Iradi, Sharaf just brought some boxers in Ghana to come and do these boxing things that we did. Ya Allah, I hope it is not Ghana. Then later I heard that it's not Ghana. Anka, the boy is finished. Anka Yagam will finish him. But
what do you
even
mean?
though it is in Nigeria, it's a sad story. Africa, our road network is not good. But you know what is worrying me?
What?
As we know that our road network is not good, when you are walking on the road, this police siren, sometimes they will do siren at your back here. If you are driving, your heart will just beat, and then you'll be confused. You don't know where to pass.
Yeah.
They'll do this siren once there is a huge traffic on the road. So if you do this siren, maybe if you want us to shift for you to pass in the middle, the road is just tiny. If you try to shift, you might fall in a hole or something. And these people want you to shift. That thing, we should regulate that thing now. It is not the best. You see that when these big people are passing, they say, they want you to keep them road, to keep them way. In the traffic, they want you to keep them way. This thing I've been talking about it. About Medina, you see our main road, the whole main road from Shashi to Adenta, you only get a bus stop at Reach Junction. The whole of Zongo Junction, there is no bus stop. But when people will alight at Zongo Junction, when you stop there to alight people, policemen will be arresting the drivers. So, in terms of this, I don't know what they want the drivers to do. So, please, I'm appealing to the authorities. His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, you are doing all. Please come to Medina Zongo Junction. Let your people come and survey there. Our road is big, but it's very congested. Very, very congested. Okay. So we need a flyover.
Medina Zongo Junction.
From Medina Zongo Junction. We need a flyover. A flyover like that of the flower pot. Else Medina Zongo Junction, it will come to a time.
What do we have at the Zongo Junction?
There's the footbridge.
There's a footbridge for pedestrian.
The footbridge that was built like you are going.
But they don't use it all. They don't use the footbridge in Medina. They still cross the road.
Long. My sister, it's too long. Before you climb,
it's too long.
Descend,
you see?
But there's a history to that footbridge because it was an afterthought. It was not part of it.
Hajia, what is longer than a life lost? Hajia, what you said is too long. Oh, where did you tell me? You said it's too long. But what's longer than when a life is lost?
My sister, listen to me. The reason why I'm saying it's too long is that climbing it, it's not like the one at the Tekwashio. The Tekwashio boat. Climbing it is very
I
easy.
use it, so I'm familiar with it.
So the bending, meandering nature of it.
I jog on that footbridge. So I know that it's long.
It is not good at all.
But it is difficult, you know, as a driver, when you get to the traffic light, to see mothers and their little children, sometimes 6, trying to cross the road and the traffic light.
Old women cannot climb it.
Yes.
Old men and old women who are suffering from their knees,
the road are not
they don't want
old
to
men
climb.
and old women.
It is
They are
very, very,
young,
very
able-bodied people who are crossing the road. But Ajia, thank you. Thank you,
Someone to come
Ajia.
and talk about it for us.
Thank you,
And they
Ajia.
are
Thank you,
creeping people. They are creeping people. If you don't climb, they will creep.
Yes.
Ajia,
thank you,
take
Ajia.
your time.
I see what Ajia is saying because I see it happen.
Yeah.
Sometimes you see the task force. I don't know if it's the police. There's a task force
trying to whip
who
people,
actually try to whip people, who try to scale the you know, there's a median and try to cross the road at the traffic lights, even though there's the flyover. It is true that the flyover is long. When we saw the construction, we all wondered why it was so long and windy, and it is a
even
problem.
that they had to take a protest led by Salom Branty and the rest.
Yes, on Facebook. I remember all of that.
And then they did a fiscal protest as well.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
But I saw the advocacy online. I saw the advocacy online. But the problem is that if you keep crossing the road and the accidents keep happening, there was an accident not at the Medina intersection, but near the senior high school. Is it the West African Senior High School? The senior high school just up the road, which led to a lot of us in the neighborhood deciding, at that time I lived around there, deciding to use the footbridges. And that went on for about 6 months, and then we're back to crossing the road in the middle of the road. You'll be driving and you see a woman and her children, like little children.
They will not use the footbridge, but they want to cross.
And because the police would whip you at the traffic lights, they scale the, what do you call it? That barrier.
The rail.
The railing.
Yeah, the rail.
Yeah, they scale it.
Sometimes they even bend it so that they'll be able to
put the child
to jump over
take the
it.
other child, put the child over. And as a driver, every time I see it, I just wonder, do you really have to put your life at risk like this?
Cry.
Because you don't want to take a long walk.
Africa cry.
You know?
We said they're born for US.
Anyway,
no,
I mean, if you're watching us and you do this, you know, it's something that we need to stop. If you're watching us and you do this, you need to stop. And the motorway, now when you're using the motorway, the number of people who cross the motorway, it's scary. Don't we need a footbridge?
No, you can't have a footbridge it's the motorway. It's a highway. It's a highway.
The new design has access for all those.
So there's a footbridge.
Yeah,
there shouldn't be because it's a highway, but now we need to improvise.
Yeah, because now we've got residential areas on the side.
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. We need to improvise.
So
ideally, a highway should not have a footbridge or anything, but now because there are people living there,
there are settlements.
Good morning. Welcome to TV3 Newday. Another caller is on the line. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Did we lose him or her? Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Okay, all right.
Good morning. This is Mosquito Junior.
Mosquito Junior.
Relax for us, eh?
Yeah.
Oh wow, are you about to bite us this morning?
Sorry.
Don't bring us malaria. Or don't bite us to bring us malaria.
We don't bite. We only speak the truth of the matter, but we don't bite.
Then we are listening to you, Junior Mosquito.
Thank you. Yeah, first of all, I want to greet our chairman, the Wu, and then Musa. I want to greet all NDC members across the left and
Mosquito, where are you calling from? You didn't tell us, so you only mentioned the names.
I'm calling from Tamale.
So these people you are mentioning are members?
Sister Paul Bank.
Okay.
Communication.
Okay.
Yeah, I greet you yourself and all TV3 members.
We take up.
Yeah. I also pray and sympathize with Mr. Joshua and then all those who had this accident and lost their lives. My condolences to all the families. Yeah, when you look at our road safety in Africa, we can never compare ourselves to that of the Europeans. When the Europeans, you see a motor rider riding on the pedestrian road. When you come to Africa, always you see motor riders forcing themselves on the bicycle lane. when you come to the traffic, when we drive and come to this traffic, the traffic will show us red. But we will always try to force ourselves into the traffic. So this is how, or this is the reason why we always experience this accident on our roadside. We don't respect our road regulations. One time I was on the roadside, and this police at the traffic was off, the light was off, and then the police officers were there, standing there, directing drivers. These drivers, they nearly knocked down the police officer on the roadside. So when they stopped him, he was already insulting them, saying he's in a hurry. So that is what is happening in Africa. Actually, we don't have monitoring team. Africa, we don't monitor. And then whenever we see people, we don't punish them. We only talk, and then finally we let them go.
Junior
so
Mosquito.
Africa, we are the talking tongue, but we don't act and then try to regularize our safety or our bylaw.
Okay, Junior Mosquito. Your point has been made. Junior Mosquito, thank you. Thank you. Junior Mosquito, thank you for calling us. I think you're our last caller. Point very well made. Thank you very much. But I think we'll just pause it. I won't say we are ending it. We'll just pause it here. Let's continue the discussion on social media. Yeah.
There's a friend of mine in the UK who is celebrating the birthday. Benjamin Tufuomino lives in the UK.
Okay.
And happy birthday to you, Benji. Benjamin Kojo Tufuomino. Happy birthday.
Okay.
He doesn't like publicity plenty.
Right.
So.
Okay.
Happy birthday
All right.
to you.
We're about to take a break, but not until I remind you that there's a world-class university right here in Ghana. It's called Rosebank International University, a very strong South African university and a brand of the AV Tech Group, Africa's largest private education provider, with 146 schools across 5 African countries and over 100,000 learners, and partly owned by the World Bank through the IFC. Now, Rosebank International University is fully accredited by the South African Qualifications Authority, the British Accreditation Council, GTech in Ghana, City Guilds in the UK, and the Capsicum Culinary Studio. Now at Rosebank International University, we offer a Doctor of Business Administration, MBA, Masters of Science and Masters of Philosophy in Digital Marketing, Bachelor of Supply Chain Management, targeting professionals in freight forwarding, customs, and so forth. We offer hospitality and culinary arts available at diploma, undergraduate and postgraduate levels. Our ICT has BSc Information Technology in Business Systems and IT Computer Application Development, all very carefully designed to equip you with the skills and qualifications needed for a successful global career. Our mission is very simple: inspiring excellence. Admissions are now open for January 2026. You can visit our modern campus at Airport Commercial or Perbia House here in Accra, or you can also apply online at www.riucedu.gh. Rosebank International University, building global citizens. All right. Another reminder, it's that time of the year again. The air is very festive, spirits are high, you can tell, and the search for the perfect holiday escape begins. This season, South African tourism invites you to come find your joy right in the heart of South Africa. South Africa is opening its arms with warmth, sunshine, and unforgettable moments, whether it's a family getaway or a romantic retreat or an adventure with friends.
The romantic retreat is for Roland.
And the adventure is for you. And the friends is for me. Those of us who are still gnashing. And experience just made for you. Taliba, we don't even have the leave days to even go.
I'm telling you something, La. On the 1st of January, Roland is going to South Africa on a romantic retreat with his wife. This is inside information.
See that.
So, who know what? Who know what has said? 1st January. And I'll be 31st.
Yeah, I'm even surprised at the things you are saying. Yeah, I'm here. I am here. You people are saying things on my behalf.
Enjoy packages like Christmas in Cape Town, Roland, or Jingle Bells in South Africa with flights, luxury stays, city tours, wine tasting, Roland, and more. Now, from scenic drives to the safari fun, Roland on Pet Safari. Yeah, no, Makai on Pet Safari. Netflix na lions and then you know coordinate. But of course, if you're out there and you're looking for all of this one is for you. Christmas getaway offers nights of indulgence, stunning tours, and a taste of South Africa's finest landscapes. Or you can also make it a family festive escape where laughter, connection, and sunshine fill every day. Whichever you choose, South Africa promises warmth, wonder, and memories to last a lifetime. Your festive adventure awaits. Visit southafrica.net to book your joyful getaway today. South Africa invites you to come find your joy this December. And as indicated by Na, Roland is leaving tomorrow with the family.
With his wife.
Later. Or with his wife.
With his wife.
Okay. No kids involved,
No.
right? Well, you don't know that when it comes to love and family, Roland is always quiet.
Romantic.
He would never comment.
Secretly romantic.
Secretly
romantic.
You will not go for break. I beg massage and make us.
Massage
Yeah, they hear you put the talk trip. What trip?
Sunny South Africa. Anyway, when you go, please don't do the secret thing you do. You don't take pictures. You don't take videos.
I take pictures.
We don't see
You do,
anything.
but
I just don't
But
post
you
it.
keep them
I
in
just-
They are just on
your
his phone.
camera roll.
Who say?
Let's see your romantic side, Roland. Well, we'll be right back with more on TV3 Newday. Stay with us. And you're welcome back. You're watching TV3 Newday. It's now time for Big Issues, where we talk about the major news stories making the headlines and the things which matter to you the most. Now, this morning, you know you can be a part of our conversation by sending your messages under our Facebook live stream. I'll be happy to read them as we go. So go to facebook.com and then search TV3 Ghana. You'll see the live stream on there, and you can send messages there. That is how you can participate in the conversations which we'll have live on the show this morning. Also, if you haven't cashed out, you want to do so now, dial *439#. That's the number to dial to win this morning. If you are a Telecel subscriber or an MTN subscriber, by dialing *439#, you can win big on the show. So dial now together. We can do it together. *439#. And then you select option 2 for TV3. And then you can play at least 25, 30, or even 40 times, all right? And that's how you can win big on the show this morning, by cashing out. All right. And so today is the last but one day of the year. The year ends tomorrow. And so tomorrow, you know, Cash Money Cookie has a big jackpot for us tomorrow. But how much she gives us tomorrow would partly depend on how much we play today. So play more today, and then let's have a big one tomorrow. Now, for Big Issues this morning, we're going to be discussing two major issues. The question of private sector participation in ECG and the pushback by the Public Utilities Workers Union, saying that this is not what they agreed and this is not what was expected. Also, conversations about the gold board is still ongoing. Yesterday, we saw an address by the Honorable Kojopo Nkrumah speaking to the fact that the minority is asking for a probe into the $214 million loss recorded by the Bank of Ghana in its gold reserves program. Now, the question that a lot of us, or a lot of you, have been asking on social media following the comments from Eric Afful, Honorable Eric Afful, and Kojopo Nkrumah, is the difference between a loss and cost, and what exactly does it mean if we say that this money, $240 million, which has been mentioned, is not a loss, but rather the cost of doing these transactions and more. We're going to get into this conversation in great detail. The gentlemen are already here with us, and today is the last but one day of the year, and so we promise to give you the very best of the conversation because it's the last time we're going to see them this year. This is the last time we're going to see you guys this year, you gentlemen this year, before we go into 2026. And I'm seeing some of you for the first time on the show. So a very special welcome to the Deputy Director General of the Kofi Annan Center of Excellence, Honorable Mohamed Aziz.
Thank you.
Great to have you on the show.
Good to see you too.
Great to see you too.
Good to see you too.
Yes, you're welcome.
Thank you. And first time meeting Doctor on the show. As well, lawyer, we were here last week, right? Yes. Yeah.
You were on the Friday team.
Yes.
Oh, you're welcome to the Tuesday team.
Thank you.
You're welcome to the Tuesday team. Also, for the first time on our Tuesday team, Richmond Roxon, Head of Comms at the Ministry of Energy and Green Transition. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you, and good to see you.
Good to see you.
And
Happy New Year in advance.
Happy New Year. And then let me say Happy New Year to the good people of Ghana and also my fellow panelists.
All right. We also have joining us in the studio the man from Team Yellow. Are we still Team Yellow? Is it still Team Yellow, right? We're keeping the butterfly and everything.
That's right.
We're just now a party.
That's right.
All right. Dr. Ramsey Inusa, he is the Director of Political Research, United Party. And I should add, one of the most amazing researchers we have in this country, because research from I don't know how many years back, he's able to hold them in his memory and speak them off the cuff. It's very admirable. Great to have you, sir.
Yeah,
great to have you.
Great to see you as well.
In studio. And Mr.
Merry
Austin.
Christmas to you and my fellow colleagues seated here. And a prosperous new year ahead, and to the good people of Ghana. Now,
Let me introduce
yes.
our in-house lawyer.
That's right.
Austin Bracco Powers, private legal practitioner. Also, one of our regulars on Tuesday. Great to have you in studio. We're matching colors.
Exactly.
Yeah, we're matching colors today.
I think it was on purpose.
Yes. All right, gentlemen, you're all welcome. Doc, you wanted to say something?
Yes, I mean, you know, we're almost at the end of this year.
Yeah.
We've seen some signals when it comes to road traffic accidents.
Mm-hmm.
I want our people to be cautious that you shouldn't drink and drive. I mean, you can make merry, but you should be moderate in the amount of alcohol and substance you consume when you drive. Because we only live once now.
Yeah.
And nobody wants to die in that manner. So I want to send a message of caution to our people, especially the youth, to be responsible during this festive season.
All right. That's, I think, an appropriate message at this time, especially after that very unfortunate news yesterday in Nigeria. And yes, this morning, we spoke extensively about it under this morning segment, especially about the abandoned vehicles in the middle of the highways, which we see a lot on our highways here in Ghana. And it's even though we haven't seen a report on the accident, we know that he ran into a vehicle which was abandoned or parked by the side of the road. So it's something that we need to be cautious of going into the new year. I think I should give you gentlemen an opportunity to say maybe a message to end the year or a word before we go into the conversation, because we will not have time at the end to do that.
Yeah. So I think, you know, what Doc said, and tying that in regards to what you said, you know, we currently, I think there's this pattern that we need to discourage people, particularly, you know, sometimes you see structures springing up near the roadside, and the owners will pile heaps of sand, sometimes in the middle of or on a section of the road, without permission. This is an offense, and I think we Ghanaians need to, and the police need to up their game. When, you know, developers pile heaps of sand, stones, in a section of cement, even in a section of the road, you must arrest them. This is a criminal offense. Because what they are doing is that they are causing, they are narrowing the road, thereby leading to what? Accidents. Because imagine someone is driving later in the night, and the person has maybe difficulty with his or her light. Imagine the accident. So I think the police must up their game when you detect things like that. Arrest the owners of those properties or the developers, so that we can sanitize the system. We have the laws now. Ghana has, I don't know, sometimes we pride ourselves of having adequate laws. What we need is implementation.
All right.
We just need to crack the whip and get the laws working, so that some of our people will start. Because the thing is that if we don't implement the laws, they feel there are no laws. And they then do whatever they want. But if we begin to crack the whip and sanitize the system, I'm sure we'll be able to now do things as civilized people.
All right. Roxanne.
Yes, it's Christmas, and New Year generally is a period of excitement, because those who have had a good year are celebrating. Those who have had a difficult year are looking forward to the following year, which is 2026. And you find a lot of people moving around. It's either they are drinking or out of excitement, they're partying. And so I would throw out a word of caution that we should do that in moderation. We should be cautious, especially when it comes to road users. There's no point drinking and driving. If you want to drink, don't drive. If you can find an alternate driver within the period where you think you're going for a party, do that. If you would want to use a public transport, unlike years ago where even getting a vehicle was difficult, today you have Uber, you have Bolt, you have Yango, and it's relatively easier to get a ride. And so if you want to go out to party, just rely on that. And then let's all get into 2026. 2026 will be a very exciting year. 2025, even though it's been challenging, it's been a year of progress. If you look at how the year started and then where the year is ending, I'm not sure that you want to be out of 2026. So let's all be cautious and then make sure that we have fun in moderation.
All right. Funny moderation. Yeah. All right. And quickly, Mohammed Aziz.
I think that 2025 has been great. We should improve on the good things that we've been doing and tone down on the ills of society. We should recommit ourselves to issues of fighting galamsey, drug abuse, all the things that we think that does not inure to the benefit of our country. We should endeavor to see how we can tone down on them and recommit ourselves to fighting them. And when we talk about resetting a governance, it's not just about what the leader can do. It's about resetting our minds to do what is right and to avoid what is bad. That's the most important thing.
All right. Thank you so much. Now, we're going to connect on Zoom with Dr. Nyako, who has just joined us. He's the General Secretary of the TUC, Dr. Kwabena Nyako. Are you with us, sir? All right, we'll come back. We'll come back to you, Doc. But let's take a look and listen to the TUC and the PUWU, the Public Utilities Workers Union, on what exactly the pushback is against the private participation in ECG.
We are saying again and again that ECG is not any ordinary company. It's a national strategic asset that should not be compromised with. People can come and bring you sugar-coated waste in the name of helping to transform the company. But I want to say that His Excellency, the President, has the power to appoint or disappoint any person that he appoints to the position, and he can do that. Red band that we are seeing is our displeasure for government move to bring private sector participation in ECG. And the first move is to bring transitional advisor, which we are actually opposed to. So we are opposed to the appointment of transitional advisor. We are opposed to the private sector participation. Since we have seen that ECG being left in the hands of government is operating, why do you need a private sector participation?
At this point in time, we do not think when progress is being made, you need to disrupt that progress and hand over ECG to a private foreign concessionaire. We don't think so. So we are worried, and workers are worried about their job security. They are worried because they have seen in this country how privatization has destroyed jobs without bringing in the needed investment and technology that we were promised. The IMF was not voted into power in Ghana. In fact, IMF has up to April to leave this country, and we will be very, very happy if they leave. When the previous government indicated its readiness to go to the IMF, we issued a statement against that. We said it was a sad day in the history of this country. It's an indication that, contrary to what Kwame Nkrumah has said, we are unable to manage our own affairs. So having come this far, the new government that came in has done so well. Things are improving. We should demonstrate to the world that we are capable of managing our own affairs. So the IMF must leave in April.
All right, and those are some comments from the TUC and the Public Utilities Workers Union. So I think we'll just start with you, Roxin. Yes. You've heard the concerns of the workers. They do not want this private participation. They are pushing back against it. They say it's not necessary because progress is being made currently. And they have raised concerns about job security, among others. Now, these conversations have gone on for a while, conversations about privatization of ECG. Before we get into assessing their concerns, can you just tell us exactly what this is going to look like?
Okay, so basically, in April 2025, the Cabinet of His Excellency, the President, approved the private sector participation in ECG. Let me state on record, categorically, that the government does not intend to sell ECG. The government does not intend to diversify ECG. And that what the plan is to introduce private sector participation in certain aspects of ECG's operations to improve. I'm sure that all of us on this table have had one concern or the other when it comes to ECG's operation, whether it comes to billing, whether it comes to collection, whether it comes to service delivery, whether it comes to applying for meters,
pricing,
whether it comes to generally, we've had several issues with ECG. And if you look at this government and where His Excellency the President and Honorable Dr. John Jinapor took the energy sector from, particularly power sector, the Achilles heel of our power sector has been ECG. When we came into government, ECG had liabilities of over 80 billion cedis. You had IPP debts of 1.73 billion United States dollars. Beyond that, there were how many containers at the ports that had been uncleared.
Yeah.
There were procurement challenges and a myriad of issues. The inefficiency was high. The AT&C, what we call aggregate technical and commercial losses, stood around 40%. And so there were moves by the government to immediately deal with the challenges. And if you recall, at the time this administration took over, we were shedding load of 700 megawatts in December. So the sector was very, very challenged. There had to be strategic reforms by the minister to ensure that where we are today, we've seen the light on. For 8 good months, there hasn't been any load shedding. 8 months. And we keep saying that anybody who has had his or her power off will be as a result of what we will call localized fault, which will be peculiar to your area. And so if you look at the challenges that the government met, you needed to act immediately. And that is why by the first quarter, His Excellency the President's Cabinet had approved the PSP. What the PSP will be, like I said earlier, is not a sale of ECG.
What would it look like?
What it will be is the introduction of multiple concessionaires to help handle ECG's challenges. So you look at the country, you look at the areas where ECG operates, and then you do what you call zonalization. Zonalization, you bring in the concessionaire, let's say for Tema. Tema will be handled by Honorable, this area will be handled by Austin. And then what you do is that you have your KPIs. Generally, you improve on billing and collection, and then service delivery. This, at the end of the day, will not be like what we saw under PDS, where ECG itself was handed over to a private entity. And as a government, our position has always been that there's nothing wrong with privatization when it comes to ECG. And you will recall that even the PDS issue is a government of John Mahama in his first administration that started the process under the Millennium Challenge development, where because of the actions of the previous administration in how he handled PDS, we lost almost $200 million. And so it is not to disadvantage anyone. I know that definitely workers are concerned about their livelihoods, and they've had assurances of government that that will not happen. You're not going to see anybody being dismissed or being relieved. It is to improve on the services of ECG by bringing in multiple concessionaires. Basically, that is what it is.
One of the concerns has been that these concessionaires or these private sector persons, individuals or companies will be foreigners.
I heard Doc mention that, and I was taken aback. I don't know why he emphasized on foreigners. There's a government that were very strong when it comes to local content. And so if you have the capacity as a local company to do it, why not? It is not the government's interest to say we are limiting it to foreigners. Once you have the capacity and capability to do the work, to provide the services, to give the guarantees that you have, I mean, absolutely, why not? And so it is not about bringing in foreigners, no. It's about bringing in competent concessionaires. So whether it is now that you have a company that you know that you can do the work, you can give us the guarantees, provide the service, nothing wrong with that. And it's not because we are fixated on foreigners. And I also heard him mention that that decision is as a result of the IMF. No, that decision was made several months back. And it will be important to put this in perspective. This government has consistently engaged TUC and POO. In fact, if there's any group that if they send a message or call that they want to see the Honorable Minister in the next minute, will be available wherever he is, it's POO, and they know that. At every material, in fact, in the last 6 months, I'm sure that we've had formal meetings, more than 10. As for informal meetings, I cannot count.
And it is on the back of these meetings that they say that you had an agreement with them. You gave them assurances that this privatization was not going to happen. And so they feel betrayed that now you seem to have done a complete U-turn from the conversations you've had in the past.
No, that is not accurate. At no point, and like I said, it is a cabinet decision at the highest level. What it is that there was a meeting between the ministry and the POO. And at that meeting, when the minister was giving them an overview of what was going to happen, they requested that they wanted 6 months from the government. The government did not hesitate. They wanted 6 months to improve because they feel like as workers, they can do better than what they've been doing over the period.
Okay.
And the Honorable Minister said, why not? This was in June 2025. Why not? I'm giving you 6 months, go through the process. It doesn't mean that the process will stall. What we'll do is that we'll run both concurrently. It is not that the PSP is off the table completely, but of course the government will slow down in proceeding with the selection of this concessionaire, but the processes leading to that will not stop.
All right.
And then you come in, and then to be fair, I mean, where we met ECG as a government and where we are, we've seen significant improvement.
All
if
right.
you ask me, my sector agency of the year, I'll say ECG. They've done well, and we acknowledge that.
Okay.
But they are where we have to be. We are far from where we have to be. Okay. It's like a student making you're expecting you make an A, which is about 70, 80. You're making 30, there's an improvement, and you get to 5 or a C. It doesn't mean that you are where you have to be.
Okay.
But there will be room for improvement.
We're going to circle back and come back to you.
Yes, let me make this point that I will say that POO should come back to the table. It's always been, we always discuss.
Have they walked away from the table?
No, because if you are protesting, I mean, there's no point protesting when you have access to the minister and government.
All right. Okay. I want us to cross over now to Zoom, where Dr. Kwabena Nyaku is joining us. He's the Deputy General Secretary of the TUC. Good morning, Doc. Can you kindly unmute your microphone?
Good morning. Good
Yes.
morning.
Amazing. Thank you. It's great to have you join us on the show this morning. I'm sure you heard Richmond speak just now about what the privatization or the private sector participation is going to look like.
Yeah, I've heard it.
All right. What exactly makes the TUC feel threatened by this proposal?
Okay, so first of all, let me say and join Roston in congratulating the government of Ghana, led by His Excellency President Mahama. They've really done a good job and in reviving ECG. They've shown how leadership can actually turn the fortunes of state institutions around. So we really congratulate them, and the statistics are very clear. Roston, and whilst congratulating government, Roston was very deliberate in leaving out the workers of ECG and the hard work they have put in support of government.
But he just congratulated you and called you Agency of the Year.
But he attributed that to the massive work government has done, which I acknowledge. But government did that with the workers of ECG. And that from getting an A, which is 70 to 80 marks, he has considered that we have moved from about 30 to about 50 in about 5 months, or let me say roughly 10 months. It means we can get to 70 and we can get to 80. Why change the winning team? You have sat with us. We have agreed on a number of benchmarks, and things are clearly improving. And in fact, let me highlight the leadership that His Excellency President Mahama and Dr. John Chinapo, their leadership in this regard. And in fact, their leadership is exactly the reason why we should not do what we are doing. Government intends to do with ECG. In fact, their leadership demonstrates clearly that ECG and all other failing state institutions can be turned around if we get the correct leadership for this country. Madam, somewhere in the early 2020s, 2021, the government of Ghana, the then government, decided to privatize TOR under arrangements we, the unions, found very problematic. We fought against it and preserved TOR as a state institution. Today, with good leadership again from President Mahama, TOR after many years of non-refining, is refining again. Assuming we had not risen up at the time and Tor had been handed over, what would have been the fate of Tor and what would have been the fate of Ghana? The point we are making is that a good start, we have made a good start. Let us continue to this logical conclusion.
Is there...
Again...
Go ahead,
Come
sir.
again.
You go ahead.
Okay. Again, Rawson has attempted to differentiate between privatization and private sector participation. Rawson, we have been in this game for a very long time, and we know that they are the same. In fact, when in 1995, the Ghana government divested its shares from the Ashanti Goldfish Corporation, it didn't sell everything. It still kept a portion. When in 2007, it divested itself of Ghana Telecom, it still maintained a share. It just introduced private sector participation, and that was called privatization. Again, Rawson, you made the point that there's no problem of privatization from the point of view of government. We think that there's everything wrong with privatization, because the history and the evidence points to the fact that privatization, the way we have done it, hasn't helped this country. And we are really amazed at the concept of multiple concessionaires. In fact, it actually demonstrates a certain ideological bent to dismantle ECG. The organization of the year, according to Ross.
Agency of the year. No, just go ahead.
If that organization of the year suddenly gets dismantled by multiple concessionaires to do what it has been doing, and for which it has been recognized as the organization of the year, then it raises a number of questions. You can, in fact, coming from the IMF, you can only see that this is ideological reason. It has nothing to do with performance, because performance, we are performing. Even though we are not yet out of the woods, we are actually making progress. This is purely an ideological reason that says that the public sector is bad and the private sector is good.
All right, Doc, you made a statement. You said privatization, the way we have done it, has not helped this country. So my question to you is, are you against privatization in itself or private sector participation in itself altogether? Or is your issue with privatization the way we have done it in this country so far? So do you have a proposal for a different way this particular privatization can be handled so as to get the buy-in of the TUC?
So the two concepts, privatization and private sector participation, are one and the same. The TUC is ideologically opposed to it, and the TUC has enough evidence to show that privatization in this country hasn't helped the state.
Privatization and private sector participation, to my mind, sounds like two different things. Because,
they are not.
Because privatization, I mean, I should let you explain it. You explain it, Richmond. Yeah.
Beyond that, Doc, beyond that, I'm a transactional lawyer as well. And so when you box these together, one has to do with equity. Transfer of equity. That's not what we are doing as a government. We are not transferring ownership to anyone. That is privatization. What you are doing is that you are bringing in concessionaires to manage an aspect of the operations that has been challenging when it comes to ECG. And you know the irony, ECG itself, it has contractors that work for them. Is that not privatization? Yeah. ECG itself, the sale of, how do you call it? It's not even meters. They sale of power. When you go to areas where they sell prepaid and all those things, those vendors, that's introducing private sector participation. And so we shouldn't, I know that the underlying issue has to do with guarantee of jobs. That is the truth. And they have the assurances of government that the concessionaire will work with ECG. The government does not intend to ensure that any worker loses his or her job. And that is a conversation that we must have.
So I just want you to give us a clear distinction between the two.
Yes.
Privatization is a total transfer of equity from
Either part
say
or total.
ECG,
Yes.
so part or total,
Yes.
from ECG to whichever private organization.
Absolutely.
And private
sector
participation is what?
You're bringing in the private sector to handle an aspect. For example, when it comes to billing,
Okay.
you decide that for this area, maybe Greater Accra, you're going to bring in the private sector to handle your billing and collection.
All right.
At the end of the day, they are like your agents.
All right.
The principal is still ECG.
So there's no transfer of equity
Absolutely no.
whatsoever.
Absolutely.
And that is what we are going to
Absolutely.
do. So these concessionaires will just manage certain concessions or certain aspects without any transfer of equity. They don't own anything.
That's all.
They're just acting as agents to the principal, who is still ECG.
You are very right. And you know, this even guarantees ECGs of revenue. Because for billing and collection, for example, we are expecting, and that's why we are going through the process of getting a transactional advisor, because the thinking of government is that once the concessionaire comes in, if you're buying power and it's 20 million, you pay up front.
Okay.
It is not that you collect the money. It's like what we've seen with PDS, where now there are money sitting with them and then we are firefighting to recover the money. No, you pay up front, and then once you finish selling, at the end of the day, you need more, you come in. So you pay the money. Let's say you're buying bulk, 20 million, you pay the money to ECG, and that will even give ECG revenue to even operate.
Right.
I think that this...
Let me come to you, gentlemen, now. Doc, you've had the conversation back and forth. Where do you stand on this?
I mean, now, if you quietly recollect, during the climax of the election, we were the first political polity to launch a plan, right, called the Great Transformational Plan. Mm-hmm. In the Great Transformational Plan, it is stipulated that ECG's metering, billing, and collection operations should be privatized. So we concur with the vision of this government in this regards. I mean, if you look at the gains that ECG has made, I must commend ECG and its workers today, and the minister in charge for energy and green transition. If you look at the administrative cost of ECG, as at last year, it was about 279 million cedis. They have cut it down to 169 million cedis this year. If you look at the coverage of bills, as at 2024 was 11%, this year was 48%. If you look at the revenue of ECG, it has increased from 900 million to 1.7 billion this year. So it's quite significant. They are doing well. But we believe that they can do more if we privatize some aspects of their operations. And so when it comes to metering, when it comes to the collection, and when it comes to billing, I think that it should be led by private sector. And it would enhance efficiency. I mean, I quite understand the sentiments laid out by the organized labor because of job security, which makes sense. But again, it is incumbent onto this government to ensure that this aspect of privatization, right, or private sector participation should have some form of job security and local content in it. Okay. I do not subscribe to the idea that it should be, I mean, we should involve foreigners in this aspect. We can involve foreigners in the, I would say, the productive aspect of generating electricity, which has a huge cost burden, right, and needs a lot of capital. But when it comes to the billing, metering, and then collection, I think that we should allow Ghanaians, government should create a facility, right, in partnership with the central bank so that they can be able to give concessionary loans to private sector participants to engage in such significant...
Government should give loans to...
through the central bank to give concessionary loans, right, which are loans that are cheaper in terms of interest with a single-digit interest rate to private sector players who want to involve in this, what do you call it, aspect of the private sector participation of ECG. Okay. And I believe that it would enhance efficiency. Now, part of the problems that we face as a country, and I feel highly disappointed with our leadership, is to do with our energy mix. I am totally flabbergasted when I hear that today, 70% of Ghana's electricity comes from our thermal power plants. I mean, it's so expensive to run your nation on HFO and diesel. It is so expensive. That is why the cost of electricity is somewhat expensive as compared to our neighboring countries like Ivory Coast. And so when President Mahama,
what does Ivory Coast run on?
Well, they mostly hydro and then some thermal power plants. But when President Mahama mentioned the green transitional aspect of the Ministry of Energy, I was very happy because I am a staunch advocate for sustainable development. And indeed, if you look at part of my research, I propose some parameters when it comes to corporate environmentalism, which will be another subject of discussion another time. But I believe that if this government would go a long way to invest in renewable energy and cleaner energy right now, which is cheaper from this current 70% thermal power plants that are producing electricity, it would go a long way in reducing the cost of electricity. And we are proposing that the government inculcates or introduces nuclear energy. And I know that the ministry has started discussion. I don't know how far they have gone with that, but I think Roxanne can also give us a briefing on that. I think that will go a long way to support our industry. And indeed, the government's industrial plan of the 24-hour economy, because you cannot run an industrial base with a very expensive, energy source. You understand? You would have a huge pass on inflation onto the end consumer, and your exports will be very expensive, and you will not be competitive. So I believe that if government goes towards, reorienting our energy mix and making sure that we have more renewables in the mix, it will go a long way to mitigating all these issues with tariff prices. And I definitely concur with government's agenda to privatize the metering, the billing, and the collection of ECG.
Okay.
Activities.
Yeah. Only those aspects?
Only those aspects.
Metering, billing, collection?
That's it.
Okay. Maybe when we come back to you...
What will be the other aspect for ECG?
Yeah, so I was just going to ask Roxanne, when we come to you, you tell us which other aspects will be left. But before we come to you, Roxanne, let's talk to Austin, and then we'll come to Mohammed, and then back to you, Roxanne.
The distribution can be left.
Yes, backup powers.
Let it be put on record that there's nothing inherently wrong with outsourcing key services or sectors of the Electricity Company of Ghana, or engaging a private entity for a clearly defined function. But what we should resist is the attempt to use operational inefficiencies, some usually politically induced, as a ruse to auction off ECG. That is what we must resist. And now I'm just curious, is the current conversation to include or encourage private sector participation truly about efficiency and reform? Or is it merely the first step towards full privatization? Me, I remain deeply skeptical and understand the skepticism of TUC and other organizations. Now, history teaches us that usually PSP is presented as a technical solution, but in practice, it becomes a soft landing for privatization.
Full privatization.
We have seen this movie one too many in Ghana.
Case in point.
Ghana Telecom. Ghana Telecom was once declared as a strategic national asset. Then, behold, boom, they just sold it. The thing is that we must be upfront. I expect government to be upfront. In fact, the president had ruled out privatization of the Electricity Company of Ghana when he had an opportunity to speak at the African CEO Forum in Abidjan in May. But the policy trajectory of this government tells a different story. I am saying that this government must be upfront and tell the workers what the intention is. But let us not use...
there are some things left unsaid?
Yes, I think there are some underhand dealings.
Why do you think so?
No, now I'm telling you, that's what I'm saying, that usually when they tell you in Ghana, when they tell you we are bringing in private sector, we're encouraging private sector participation, it's just a cover-up.
ECG already contracts private people to do various things.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying that inherently there's nothing wrong. But I'm saying that it's one step. Let me tell you the familiar script. This is a familiar script. Introduce a private operator under the guise of inefficiency or efficiency. 2, gradually expand the control of the private sector. Then the last one is what? Is just to divest the state or the state interest in that company. This is a script. The 3-step is a three-pronged approach.
What's your basis?
And I'm telling you that we have government government is telling us that they are only initiating the first step.
Did they say that?
No,
Did they say
no,
that?
no, relax. No, relax. The thing is that now to bring in private sector. No, but right.
No.
A few minutes ago, you said that you are bringing in multiple. No, you said you are bringing in multiple concessions.
Yes.
And I'm saying that is the first step towards full privatization.
So you are saying that.
Exactly.
So government is not saying.
No, so now. No, Doc, you've had your bites. You've had your bites. Allow me to.
No, don't
I think this claim is needless. Allow me to finish. The thing is that now, I'm telling you that this is the familiar script. They introduce a private operator under the guise of efficiency. 2, then gradually they expand the control of the private sector. Then the last option, which is the last step towards full privatization, is where they divest the state, the remaining interest of the state from that company.
And my question is, what's your basis for thinking that this is the roadmap that the government intends to employ?
That's what I'm telling you, that we've seen this script one too many.
Where?
And where? Are you in Nigeria or South Africa?
Where?
I'm saying Ghana. We've seen this script played out in Ghana. And I'm saying that now.
Where there was PSP.
Oh, please stop the.
No way. We should give you one instance.
Now,
very significant.
Doc, wait. Let him land. Let him
that
land.
of DVLA.
Let him land.
Now, I'm saying that
I'll come back.
I agree with the
TUC's
TUC.
concern.
They must agitate and let the government come clean, because I feel that something is fishy somewhere. Because for me, I'm skeptical. I told you, and I understand their skepticism. I'm saying that someone is not being upfront with the workers. And it begs the key question. Why are you bringing, in fact, if we have privatized or we have outsourced a portion of ECG's funds, that is enough. Why can't?
When you still have inefficiencies.
Why? You see, now, I'm telling you, the problem about inefficiency, as he complains, it's because of the politicians. ECG is a strategic, technically sensitive national institution that require competent and business-minded leadership, not politicians.
And Pepena is a politician.
But when you appoint by ECG head,
do you know Pepena's track record?
Now, I'm saying that not a politician, not a political appointee.
Who are you referring to exactly?
I'm saying that ECG must not be the CEO of ECG must not be appointed.
Okay.
Do you understand? That's what I'm saying. It's a political appointee. I'm saying that we must bring on board competent, business-minded.
You don't think he has the competence to run ECG?
Now, I think we should get to a point where such offices must be open to people to apply.
Okay.
So that the managers should be appointed competitively, through a competitive means. That's what I'm saying. Okay. We cannot be appointing people and just by thinking that they are competent. I'm saying that we should open up, let people who are business-minded
apply,
and people who are competent handle it. So now, this is it. The workers must agitate. They must not relax. This government is playing by the script. So they will introduce. So this is what they do. Just bring in. No. Bring in a private hand today. Then quietly remove the public hand tomorrow. That's what they are doing, Doc. So you people must sit up and agitate and resist this attempt by this government.
We are calling for agitation. Mohammed, please have your bite, and then I'll see if we have enough time to come back again.
There's a lot of confusion around this table on the issue of the private sector participation. First of all, the pool, that's the workers within the power sector, workers of ECG, the government, and we, the end users, we are all parties in this arrangement. So our views matter so much. And so I will not fault the pool for making their point very clear. But we have a counter position as a government. And it is not true, when I say there's so much confusion in the system, it is not true that the idea of the private sector participation is an imposition by the IMF. Go and read our 2024 manifesto. It was clearly stated that we're going to engage private sector in the downstream of the power sector. Very, very clear. So that cannot be an imposition from, I hear Dr. Kobe say it is an IMF arrangement. That is not, because we had kept that one in our manifesto. Now, what are we talking about? Lawyer is being very, very speculative. We don't seem to understand the difference between private sector participation and privatizing an entity. Like Roxanne said, to privatize an entity would mean to hand over the assets to another company. That is not what we are seeing here. Now, we cannot continue on this trajectory. That look, the power sector is very integral to our national economy. If we get it wrong, there's no way we can get our economy right. And so whatever we need to do to ensure a stable power supply at a relatively lower cost, it is very, very important. Between 2021 to 2024, ECG recorded a total loss of about 30 billion Ghana cedis. That is untenable. We can't allow that to continue. About 30 billion Ghana cedis just in 4 years, 2021, 2022, 23, and 24. In fact, Roxanne has just indicated that the losses that ECG recorded in 2024 was around 40%. You see, ECG is basically like a trader. 40%, both technical and commercial losses. 40%. What it means is that out of every 100 Ghana cedis that the state, not poor, not the workers, out of every 100 Ghana cedis that the state invests in ECG, they are only able to recover 60 Ghana cedis. No business can survive on this arrangement. And so they must be interested. Look, government has assured them that there will not be any job losses. If that is their fear, that has been guaranteed. That there will not be job losses, they will not be cut in their remuneration.
Have
you had the experience?
Okay.
Oh, government says that there won't be job losses. Have you had the experience
if
of looking
government is bringing in private concessionaires to handle various aspects of the operations of ECG?
Yes.
How are these operations? So these concessionaires are going to bring their own workers to do their job.
So,
to put it simply, what exactly would the current ECG workers who are currently doing the job be doing?
Okay. Now let me give a very good example. Have you had the experience of looking for a meter? Have you had the experience of ECG workers? And regrettably, I have to mention this. People have experienced it, that even looking for a meter, you'd have to pay huge sums of money just to get a meter. Last week, there was an announcement from ECG that customers who were using a particular type of meter called the Nuru meters cannot purchase power.
Yeah.
What do you expect those people to do if they need power? The temptation to do illegal connection is very high. There's a lot of operational inefficiencies within ECG. That we think we can fix with a private sector participation. What the government is proposing is a multiple lease model. What it means is that they get company A, deal with the Accra zone. Company B, deal with the Etama zone. So that you have a small portion of area to concentrate on. And like Rosin mentioned, the person would buy the power with cash, prepayment. The person comes to buy the power to go and sell and must make his margins. That is what government is proposing to do. If you don't want this. So what at all is a problem of ECG workers? Your incomes will not be affected. You will not lose your jobs. But we're saying that there has been a lot of inefficiencies in the system. I recognize the fact that they have recorded some gains in the last few months. Yes. That is true. From 900 million in December last year to about 1.7 in July this year. We commend the workers of ECG
and
for that.
And the question is, why not allow them to continue along the same path?
Now, we are looking for a sustainable fix. Today, we have a new ECG boss. We have a new minister for the sector. We have a new president. Their efforts have led, working with the workers of ECG, for us to record this. But we need a more systematic fix. And that's why we are bringing the private sector participation. Why? There's a test case for us to learn from. Enclave Power, EPC, Enclave Power, that operates within the free zones area. They do exactly what ECG is doing. But because it is privately owned and managed, the efficiency is about 99.9%. virtually zero inefficiency. They are able to recoup all their investments and make profit. Enclave power here, because if I'm a private investor, I will not allow you, my worker, to go and connive with the end user to cheat me. It happens today in Ghana. That most of the wrongs that we see in the system, not all of them, very hardworking ECG workers, but some of them are complicit. If I was to be a private investor and you do that, I'll fire you. But can you imagine if the state was to fire 10 or 20 workers at ECG? Even if they were found doing the wrong thing?
What would happen? If they are found doing the wrong thing?
Who would push back?
If they are found doing the wrong thing?
I'm saying who will push back. So who will push? So Dr. Kobe, what at all are you? What at all? Please. Dr. Kobe, I'm sure you have your turn. Please, Dr. Kobe.
Doc, just hold on. Just hold on for me, Doc. I'm going to come to you after
I have just told you, and you work with the ECG. I've just told you, if you can give me counter numbers, that between 2021 up to 2024, you recorded a loss of about 30 billion Ghana cedis. And that losses that you record, operational losses, is about 40%. And that no business can thrive on that trajectory. The benchmark from PURC is 3% for losses. Benchmark is 3% from PURC, your own regulator. And yet we are doing about 40%. And all that we are saying is that let somebody come and be in charge of the metering, the billing, and the collection. And that is a problem. I don't see where the problem is coming from. Now, gas suppliers, independent power producers, they are old. We cannot continue to work on this path. The assurance that government can give to ECG workers is that nobody will lose his job unfairly.
That's assurance.
Now, I hear Dr. Bracco. You have been very, very speculative and conjecturing.
I didn't know that you had a PhD.
No, I'm even surprised.
Oh, lawyer.
Honorable is conferring.
Lawyer Bracco, forgive me. Lawyer Bracco, forgive me. Lawyer Bracco, forgive me.
I don't want GTEC.
No, they don't come after you. In fact, you have been speculative. You are conjecturing. Government has told you what they want to do, and you are telling us what you think government will do. When the government itself has told us exactly in clear terms what they want to do. Now, if you don't understand, I don't understand. No, lawyer, the telecom sector is deregulated, right? How come that MTN, which also offers some service, makes huge profits and pays taxes to the state, and ECG is incurring losses? I don't understand why a consumer who can go ahead to do illegal connection on his meter and yet cannot do same on his phone. You know what it is? Technology and investment. That will come from the private sector, because no investor or shareholder in MTN would allow people to abuse his funds. And when you give the example of Ghana Telecom, now Etelisal, that was privatization. Equity was sold. Yes. Assets were handed over. That is not the case. Please. No. The case of Ghana Telecom
was nothing like that.
Being sold to a Vodafone and now Etelisal is entirely a different arrangement. No equity would be handed over to them. No asset will be handed over to them. And so,
how did it begin?
It's a script.
How did it begin?
It began by just selling about outright sale.
It was an outright
in 2007
by President Kufuor. Private sector participation.
No, it was
no extension of the private sector's authority.
No, it was an
and eventually removing the government.
It was an outright sale. In any case, in the last regime, please. Lawyer, just Google. It was an outright sale of equity.
That was the final analysis.
That was the final analysis.
No, that's not what you said.
That wasn't the final analysis.
Exactly.
No.
Now, Ghana Telecom, you see, Ghana Telecom had managers who were not...
that's employees.
No, not employees. At the point, we sold part of, we get part of our equity in Ghana Telecom to foreigners.
That's what I'm saying.
Relax. I'm saying that it's a script. It's a script. That's why I'm saying that.
Lawyer, you find your turn. Please, continue. I want us to settle this matter on this table.
Lawyer.
That when you want to use Ghana Telecom now a telecell as a basis, that would be a very wrong premise. That was an outright sale by the government of President Kufuor. What we are doing today is a private sector participation. The power producer will still generate the power, Greenco will do the transmission and everything, ECG will be involved. But of course, maybe most of the workers will now be transferred onto a private a payroll, do the work and you are paid.
The question of the workers.
Look, I'll just give you an example. Enclave Power.
Yes, I got that.
Power.
We got that. The question of the workers.
Yes.
One of their biggest challenges we know is their job security. Are you giving us an assurance of sorts that these private concessionaires will employ the services of the same ECG workers?
Now, let me respond to that.
And then after that, we'll come back to you, Doc.
Let me respond to that. And you notice that whenever Doc speaks, conveniently, he never refers to the classic case of ECG and PDS. And there's a reason why they don't refer to that.
What is that?
Because even with the PDS arrangement, and let me state once again, that our challenge as a government or as a party with the PDS arrangement was not the principle that you cannot involve the private sector. It was the cannibalization of the process. Because people grabbed ECG for themselves. That is what happened when it came to PDS. And within the period PDS operated, Doc can confirm, there were significant improvements in revenues, in service. Why? And ask him whether any worker losses or a job. And so let's not go back referring to abstract. When you have a classic case of PDS, which is just the same ECG entity that we are talking about. What the difference is this time is that, one, as a government, we've learned from the mistakes of PDS. In fact, we told them, and they didn't listen. And that is why you are putting in place, instead of doing one whole transfer to a private sector, you're doing multiple concessions. That is de-risking.
Yeah.
That is de-risking to ensure that you don't face the problems we face with PDS.
All right.
Okay.
Let's go to Doc. Doc, you tried to come in a few times to respond to some of the things that have been said. You can go ahead now.
You see, the script for privatization includes bastardizing the state entity.
Bastardizing what?
The state entity. Bastardize the workers enough. They connive, they do that, they do this. Into privatization. That's the first initial step of the script. So even when people acknowledge that progress is being made, they cannot resist the temptation to bastardize. You see, I've told you time without number that we have been part of this process. We followed the AGC privatization. We followed Ghana Telecom. In fact, we have followed about 100 privatization that has taken place in this country. And lucky for me,
100.
I sit on the PRC board. Now,
yes.
You remember when PRC sanctioned ECG directors, board members? You remember?
Yes.
Yes, I was part of those that signed that sanctioning them. And we knew what the politicians were doing to ECG. We knew it. Those that bring in the meters that cannot buy credit, they were not ECG workers. They were politicians. So there was bad politics at ECG.
Is that so?
That result, bad politicians.
You said politicians were bringing in meters.
Meters, yes.
And installing as ECG meters.
Yeah. They were the ones that were winning the contract to bring, in fact, imposing the contract on ECG to bring 40 meters.
This was in 2024.
I mean, not just 2024.
No, Doc. Perspective is very important. Doc, perspective is very important. And you can speak to ECG themselves, even the MD. This is not an administration that meddles in the day-to-day running of any of the agencies. Doc, let me clarify. And the ECG themselves will attest to it. The minister does not call them to influence them.
Let's let him make his point, and then I'll come back to you, Roxanne. Doc, you land. Roxanne, hold on. Doc, you land, and then Roxanne can respond.
Roxanne has nothing to respond. Roxanne, if you listen to me for understanding, you will get my point. But you are just listening to respond to me without understanding me. I'm saying that in times past, I was sitting on PRC board, and I was observing all the things that was happening to ECG. And so those losses that you just mentioned were a matter of course, because we knew what the politicians were doing at the time to ECG and its revenues. We knew them. Thank God there's a change in government. His Excellency, the President, together with his minister, have worked so well. And I commend Pepena. So I agree with Rossen. I commend all the people that are the helm of affairs at ECG today. And I commend the workers of who? The workers that have worked so well, things are improving. Now, the way we have done privatization in this country. So somebody mentioned EPC. EPC, private individuals who think they have the money and expertise came together to form EPC. And they are now selling power in the thermal enclave to industrial workers, to industrial consumers. So if there's any group of Ghanaians who think that they have the money and the expertise, in fact, they should set up a company and supply power in my area. If their services are superior to the services of ECG, people will switch to them. We should not attempt to cannibalize ECG. In fact, what government is doing, the proposal Russian is so eloquently elucidating, is simply cannibalizing ECG, and we will not allow that to happen. Now,
so you're saying that instead of giving out concessions, the private individuals should set up their own energy production company?
Energy distribution company, because ECG is a distributor. Just like private companies have set up their own private generating companies and they are selling power to ECG. Anybody who thinks they have the wherewithal, the capacity, the expertise, they should go to Northern Ghana and supply power to Techiman and its enclave and give them a better service and let the people of Ghana choose their service over the services of, say, NEDCO or ECG. Now, they have made a lot of big deal about workers. Yes, we are concerned about workers. We represent workers. And we know in this country what privatization has done to the working condition of workers. Take Ghana Telecom. Ghana Telecom today, Telecel, you have workers coming to you. They say they are workers of Telecel. Telecel says that you are not our workers. So you have people working and they don't even know their employer. That is bad for the workforce of Ghana. So we will do everything to protect the job security of our workers. But beyond the job security, now, I have just mentioned that we fought the attempt to privatize TOR because the politics at the time was not allowing TOR to operate efficiently. Today, we have a different resetting politics, and TOR is refining. So when we are fighting, we are not just fighting for our workers. In fact, that's our primary responsibility. But we are also fighting that no government should be allowed to appropriate state property. When we do that, we are actually doing that in the supreme interest of Ghana, not in the supreme interest of any other entity or body.
But you realize that the call for this private sector participation is a call for private Ghanaians to, so to speak, participate in the managing of certain aspects of ECG. It's not a government appropriation, so to speak.
Nah.
When you say government appropriation, what do you mean?
Nah.
Yes.
You see, we are in Ghana, and we know the politics of Ghana.
What is the politics of Ghana?
We know those who win the contract to supply, to manage distribution. We know those who are likely to do the distribution in Accra, and we know those who are likely to do the distribution around the country.
Okay.
We know.
Who are they?
I think you get me. Now, the point we are making is that from the evidence, why is it that this country, we cannot say that we will manage things ourselves? Those Ghanaians, whether foreign or Ghanaians, those people who think they have the expertise, please let them set up a company. Let them buy power from the IPPs. Let them distribute it efficiently. Let them do, that's our counter proposal.
All right.
Let them do that and let them leave ECG
right.
alone.
All right. All right. I think I should let Roxanne just respond to the subject on. I don't even.
No, in fact, Doc has
and then
used,
and then
yes,
I'll come to you.
Doc and my learned friend, they've used very strong words today, and
you're familiar with those
No. And, for want of a better word, I'm scandalized. Because
you are scandalized as a person.
Yes, because if you say that the goal is to appropriate state assets, if that is the goal,
I didn't say the goal is to appropriate.
Doc, what did you say? Doc, what did you say?
You see, I'm saying that we are in Ghana and we know the politics of this country. Yeah. Those that were attempting to privatize talk just about 2-3 years ago. We dig the background. We knew the people they were selling. They were trying to sell.
So use the MPP to judge the current regime. Oh, okay.
So,
I'm not using the MPP to. You see, there's a script, as somebody mentioned, and that when you see something, it can resemble something else.
Let me clarify.
Okay.
That there is nobody. The government itself does not intend to appropriate any state assets.
Okay.
When it comes to ECG. If that was the objective, I'm sure that the government has the powers to go after ECG itself as an asset, to transfer equity. That is not the plan. It's to bring about efficiency, effectiveness. That is what you want to bring about. Now, if you see your power on today, it is because of hard work, and Doc himself acknowledged, because of leadership of the minister, every single time.
And the staff of ECG.
I wanted to chip this in.
We have just 9 minutes to end.
Yes.
The segment.
In regards to a notable case study, let's look at DVLA.
Okay.
DVLA's inspection and testing centers were privatized to enhance efficiency in their operations. Today, I can tell you that through that facility, DVLA's revenue has increased by 57%, unprecedented in the history of our country.
And they're expanding all over.
And they're expanding.
We've seen some of their new
and so there's no harm in privatizing the metering, the billing, and the collection aspect of ECG.
That privatization, ECG revenues have increased by 90%.
And we know that it can increase significantly with private sector participation.
We will work with you to do that.
I like that.
So now, I think it's important to say that energy sector reform must not be driven by ambiguity and maybe half-truths and what I call or describe as Humpty Dumpty leadership style.
Like what happened in Nanado.
So you see, now, I think ECG can be reformed, stabilized, and made profitable without leading to what TUC, one of the fears of TUC. So I think we require political leadership, professional management, and commitment to institutional sustainability. These are the things that would revive ECG without necessarily auctioning off part of ECG core functions to individuals. I'm seeing that, and it bears repetition that this is a script. We've seen that script one too many, and Ghanaians, because you see, the difficulty is that if ECG eventually is sold off, tariffs will rise, electricity tariffs will rise.
It's not going to be sold off.
You are being speculative. Relax.
Relax.
We are spending enough time to tell you about the difference.
Honorable, the time you spent is only to advance the interests of the government.
No, but don't mislead.
But I'm speaking as a consumer.
I don't consume power. No, I don't consume power.
But you have a double position. You are in a double position.
All right, Austin.
Honorable is in a double position.
So they say once
but you are not misleading them.
How will I mislead? Everything I said,
there's a saying in our language that if you are beaten by a snake, even when you see a rope in darkness, you want to run for your life.
Exactly. Your point is well made.
So Dr. Kobe is having the fears of the government of Nana Akufo-Addo and thinks that may play out under President Mahama. Dr. Kobe have the assurance that there's a vast difference between the leadership by President Mahama and that of Nana Akufo-Addo. You gave the example of Tor and how they were trying to sell Tor to themselves at the paltry sum of $22 million US. We will not do that. The process will be transparent. No, there will be no job losses, and we will ensure that there will be efficiency in the downstream of the power sector. I understand where your fear is. Do not liken the governance of President Akufo-Addo to that of President Mahama. There's a clear distinction between these two. We are doing the multiple list arrangement.
All right.
Comparative bidding will be done. Whether the person belongs to NPP or NDC, once the person has a financial muscle and can do the job, the person will be contracted.
All right. I'm going to read some of your messages, and if my producers will allow us 5 minutes, we will just give each of our guests just a bite at the gold board matter. So I'll wait for Shadrach, my producer, Shadrach, to let me know if we can have 5 minutes. Prince Henry from Koforidua says, I know this government will be a listening one, so I don't have any doubts that the ECG issues will be addressed and done amicably. All right. Now, Ghana's energy sector needs optimization due to bottlenecks limiting industrial growth. Engaging private-public partnerships will address operational inefficiencies and boost sustainability and enhance productivity. While acknowledging the TUC concerns on job losses, I'm very optimistic that this government will protect workers as promised. Let's enable private partnerships to create synergies for economic growth. And that's what Mark Ewusi Akko. All right, more messages coming in. Is Lawyer Bracco talking about his feelings or facts? We all have feelings, but our feelings do not represent facts. ECG staff are just greedy. They are thinking about their fat salaries. If they think they can't work with the government, they should please resign. And that's from Kalio Man, texting from Wa.
That's a personal view, Doc.
Some of your messages, I can't read them, but I thank you for sending them in. Now, I'll just give each of you by just 1 minute each on the gold board matter and the minorities call for a bipartisan probe. Doc.
Yes. Now, well, reading the IMF report, I think that it is clear that there has been a loss, even though there's no final audit from the central bank to that regards. But indeed, they do share data with the IMF due to the IMF policy that we are in, the program that we're in currently. If you look at Ghana's trajectory over the years, in 2018, our gold output was quite significant and higher than this year's own. Yet still, the cedi depreciated post-2018 to 2022 by 54%. This year, the cedi has appreciated significantly. And this is due to the gold board. You see, let us do a cost-to-benefit analysis. There is a macroeconomic gain, and there's a $214 million loss. Can you imagine if the gold board did not streamline the processes of gold exports, right, and reduce, smuggling? Mm-hmm. We would have had an issue where the cedi would have depreciated significantly, right? Inflation would have been skyrocketing. It would affect end consumers. The cost of medication, the cost of items in this country would have been significantly high. Businesses will lose their capital. And so let us forget about the politics of the day and what the MPP is doing. And indeed, under their regime, in 2024, the goal for the G4R and the goal for oil, that's the goal for reserves and the goal for oil, cumulatively lost 4.84 billion cedis. This year, right, we're estimating it to be, they have discontinued the goal for oil policy, which is quite significant. Mm-hmm. The gold for reserve, where the IMF is estimating it to be about $214 million. Yeah. But Ghanaians should know this, that for everything in terms of economics, we have what we call opportunity costs. We have to forego the loss of what? We have to forego $240 million to achieve some form of macroeconomic stability, which is significant. What the gold board has done is unprecedented in the history of this country. We need to give them that, what do you call it, eulogy, as far as our economy is concerned.
So this loss is justified?
It's justified. It's a cost. And, you know, it's due to certain operational aspects. I mean, differentials of Forex.
Are we to expect more of this cost?
Well, what I think, now, what I think they should do, and this is from a radical perspective, is that, look, if you look at where our exports is going to, we're looking at UAE and then India. Now, what are they using this gold for in India? They're using it for jewelry. And if you look at India's jewelry markets, as estimated this year, 2025, it's about $90 billion. In 2030, it would rise to $130 billion, right? So looking at this projection, what I want this government to do is to create an enclave called the Gold City.
The Gold City? The
Gold City, where we would have a policy, radical policy, that 60% of Ghana's gold would not be exported, but will be refined and would add value. And you can attract...
Before export?
Yes, but would add value. So you can attract companies like Cartier, Rolex, and all these high-end jewelry makers to this Gold City, and then create a hub where this Gold City will be the largest trading block as far as jewelry is concerned in the whole of the world. Dubai doesn't have a lot of mines. Yet still, Dubai trades a lot of volumes of gold.
They do.
And I think that this would increase our, employment rates. It would boost our foreign reserves. And indeed, we would have value for money when it comes to gold export. And
it's just not just gold, a lot of our other raw materials.
Yes,
even
I think that I think that to end this as well, the time of relying
that's
on
all your time.
No, let me
That's
just
all your
end.
time.
Let me just end, please. The time of relying on only minerals for exports is over.
Okay.
We need to diversify.
You've taken all the 5 minutes. Do I have your permission to end them?
Is it in
Do
the
I have your
DTP?
permission to
It's
end
in the
this
DTP.
without having
strategic
to...
anchor industry.
Let me say that on this subject,
yes,
I place greater confidence in IMF data than hurried local explanations. Why? Because the IMF and the World Bank rely on credible domestic and international sources for their data.
The ECG,
so I don't really trust what they are saying. And I think the handling of this matter by Gold Board leadership has even muddied the situation, because it was first an outright denial, then to an admission. Then later, they are saying that Gold Board was not constituted or set up to make profit.
Yes.
I think we just have to admit that these are operational losses, as Doc said. And let's see how we plug the holes. Because the thing is that if you buy gold at a premium and sell it at a discounted price, obviously you incur some losses. So let's see how we remodel the operational strategy of Gold Board.
Lawyer, it's a pricing strategy.
So that the thing is that
it's a price strategy.
So we need to address that.
I agree with you.
We need to address that.
I agree with you.
So that at least that's what I'm saying, that these operational losses are evident and structural. So as you were saying, but we need to plug the loophole. Yeah. And if the government if the Ministry of Finance will want to cushion the losses, that is fine and square. But the thing is that we must learn to admit certain things when the truth is, if I'm looking at you in the truth is looking at you in the face. Let's stop this politics of convenience, where we admit when it is convenient for us, or we deny it when we know that it's against us. It won't help us. A loss is a loss.
All right, Mohammed.
Now,
yes,
the call by the minority for a bipartisan probe.
Mm-hmm.
I'm surprised that a fine gentleman like Kojo Oponkroma would be speaking to such an issue. I'm
Why
very
are you
much
surprised?
I see him as one of the fine members of parliament from the other side.
And your point is, what is wrong with
and
the
so,
call
for instance, the IMF talks about a loss of $214 million for third quarter. Mm-hmm. No entity. You can't judge an entity just by the books of accounts for a quarter, just third quarter. Why don't you allow the year to end? They will prepare their financial statements so that you can tell whether they made a loss or they made some profit. And so I know Kojo Oponkroma to be a long-standing member.
Let's not talk about his person.
I'm saying he addressed the press.
Yes, but
he addressed the press.
He spoke on behalf of the minority.
He's a long-standing member of the finance committee. It is my thinking that he has some finance background. And you should know that you don't prepare financial statements at the end of third quarter. In a case like the doctor said, this same bank of under the gold for reserve and gold for oil, they recorded a total of 7.7 billion Ghana loss for 2023 and 2024. Yeah. That loss has been reduced to about 2.1. And you are calling for a bipartisan approach? Bipartisan investigations. Why? Bank of Ghana.
All right.
Bank of Ghana.
That's your time.
Bank
That's
of
your
Ghana.
time. That's your time. That's your time.
Mention Akufo-Addo.
Gentlemen.
Yes.
Well, you could have called for an investigation.
No. Yes. I wish we had enough time.
Yes.
We don't have enough time.
Unfortunately, we don't.
We don't have enough time. It's
Gold board has been a master stroke for the government.
Okay.
And you can see that the minority has always been jittery when it comes to gold board.
Oh, yes.
And so the least opportunity to bastardize, they'll take the opportunity. And it's worse when it's Samiji who is involved.
I know, right?
And so
I know.
Instead of looking at the issues in its perspective, of course, there's an opportunity to politicize it and then look at, make political advantage of it. If you look at the effects of gold board on our economy today, look at exchange rates.
Yeah.
We've moved from 17 to 11. And the government itself attributes part of the successes to it.
Largely.
If you look at the fiscal and the management of the economy by BOG and finance ministry, inflation itself. And so, yes, it's a new institution.
All right.
They're now setting up.
All our microphones have been turned off at this point. We have told you about it. Gentlemen, I'll say thank you so much for your time and your contributions on the show today. Thank you also for sending in your messages. We appreciate them so much. It's that time of the year again. The air is festive, spirits are high, and the search for the perfect holiday escape begins. This season, the South African Tourism Authority invites you to come and find your joy right in the heart of South Africa. South Africa is opening its arms with warmth, sunshine, unforgettable moments, whether it's for a family getaway or a romantic retreat like Roland Walker is planning, or an adventure with your friends. There's a festive experience made just for you. So enjoy the packages we have for you in Christmas through Cape Town or Jingle Bells in South Africa, with flights, luxury stays, city tours, wine tasting, and so much more. From scenic drives to safari fun, every detail is planned for pure joy and ease. So if you're looking for elegance or a Christmas getaway or nights of indulgence, stunning tours or a taste of South Africa's finest landscapes, make it a family festive escape, or where laughter and connection and sunshine will feel every day. Whatever you choose, South Africa promises warmth, wonder, and memories to last you a lifetime. Your festive adventure awaits you. Visit southafrica.net to book your joyful getaway today. South Africa invites you. Come, find your joy with us this December. Stay tuned. When we come back, we'll cash out and bring you more information on how to get ready for the new year on TV3 Newday.